Hello darts nuts, I'm just going to do a review of the new 180 Reactive darts, and these are the darts that have the new patented Reflex point. They're a 90% tungsten dart. There's 6 models in the range with the new ultra thin flexible point, and this particular model, the Reactive, has got I think it's 4 weight ranges from 20, 22, 24 and 26 grams, and the manufacturer's suggested retail price is $59.99, but obviously if you shop around you should be able to find them a little cheaper. We'll just read some of the advantage of the new Reflex point. It says reasons why the Reflex point is a revolution: always sticks in even the hardest boards, allows the barrel to bend away from the next throwing dart to allow extremely tight grouping with no danger of knocking darts out of the board, minimum deflection of darts in board, form memory. The point keeps its original shape during normal darts usage, only 1.5 millimeters diameter, very thin. And this particular model, the Reactive, it says the design is based on the legendary 516 symmetrical aerofoil dart. Its compactness and aerodynamic shape enhances flight stability. The sophisticated grip rings on the slope of the dart provide extra grip and security to the player. So that's the technology behind the dart. As you can see, it comes in quite a nifty little new style of packaging from 180, and inside you've got a little tray with it's a kind of a felt backed foam insert with the darts and extra stems, quite neatly packaged. So you've got your darts with what look like medium Proplast stems fitted, and then you've got some extra stems as well, so that's pretty good. And these ones have got little ring clips on them, and you've got 180 flights. There's 2 sets of flights as well, so that's quite handy. Standard shape. So that's what you get inside the packet. That's quite a nice solid little storage thing. So we'll have a close look at the dart now. Alright, here's a close look at the Reactive 24 gram 180 darts with the Reflex point. As you can see, the point is really very thin. It's just kind of reminds me of like a needle. It's about the same thickness, maybe. It's nice and neatly placed into the barrel, a nice smooth transition again from 180. They always have a nice smooth transition from the point to the barrel. I think they've used some kind of a special metal for these points. As you can see, it does bend and flex, but it just goes straight back to its shape. So it'd be interesting to see how they work when they're in the board. As you can see, it's quite a flexible point, and that is meant to be the advantage. As the dart sits in the board, another dart will come in, hit the barrel. Instead of deflecting off the barrel in the board should bend out the way to allow the incoming dart to enter the board. So that's your 1.5 millimeter Reflex point. I think they will be coming out with replaceable points very soon, and I am not sure whether there's supposed to be an adapter coming out so you can use them in normal darts, but I'm not really sure about that. So we'll have a look at the barrel now. These are quite a nice barrel shape, and they're a bit like a John Lowe style. They're only short, which is kind of a shape that I like. One thing I do like about these is it's got this lovely micro style grip at the front of the barrel and on the rear. It's one of my favourite kind of grips, that. And in the middle, this thinly cut ring grip. It feels a very comfortable dart to hold. I'm probably going to be gripping it around there because it feels just about right. But even if you like to grip it a bit on the rear, you've got something there as well. I'd say this this micro grip is probably a medium level, and this thinly cut ring grip is probably a high medium, but it's more than enough grip for me. Another thing I've noticed as well is, I'm not sure if I've seen it in any other 180 barrels, but they've got the 180 name etched onto the barrel. Don't think I've seen them do that before. And then you've got your medium Pro Plus stems, and these, I think these are 100 micron standard shape flights. It looks a very nicely balanced dart, to be honest. So I'll just let you have a look at it, and then I'll put a detailed close up with all the measurements on. Okay, here's the close detailed look at the reactive 24-gram darts. It's got a 27mm point, and there's a very slight taper at the front of the barrel, and it's smooth section for 3.9mm, and then it goes into a sloped section of this micro style grip, which is 8.3mm wide, and then the middle of the barrel is 14.7mm, made up of a purist ring style grip, and then there's another section of micro grip sloping towards the rear of the barrel, which is 8.3mm wide, and then there's a smooth section with the 180 logo etched onto the rear of 6.4mm wide. The overall length is 41.13mm, and the width is 7.9mm. Right, I'm just going to give the barrels a measure now. Just make sure that's on 0. So it's only a shortish barrel. So it's 41.13mm, and the width is, let's see if that's the widest. It's very close to 8mm wide. Let's say it's about, so how to get on these rings exact. It's probably 7.98mm at the widest point. Let's say 7.9 to be safe. We'll weigh the barrels now. That one is 24.02 grams. .11 grams. That's 24.09. So it's only about 1/10 of a gram over the stated weight, which is pretty good. And the weight of the full setup as it's supplied is 26.02 grams. Check the balance of the barrel. Should be quite interesting because the point is obviously going to be lighter than normal point with it being so thin. That's the balance there, which is pretty much in the centre of that that sharp ring grip. It's very slightly front weighted, and with the supplied setup it's probably going to move a little bit closer to the rear, as you would imagine. So with the supplied setup, I would say that the bang in the middle. So that's the look at the 180 Reactive 90% tungsten darts with the new very thin reflex point. I do like the shape of it, the barrels, and it's a very comfortable dart to hold for me. So let's give them a throw and see how they go. I'm just on the dart on this micro grip at the front, but a little bit on the sharp ring grip in the middle, and quite a nice start from the first couple of throws. It seems to have a nice balance to it. One thing I do like is the grip on them. I mean, I'm quite a big fan of the micro grip, but it feels just a little bit stronger than micro grip at that front. That grip in the middle is even stronger still. Probably just a touch too grippy for me in the middle, but because I'm only holding a little bit of that, it's not too bad. Now you can see when the darts hit the board as well, they do like spring, kind of a bit like a soft tip when it springs. Just see how much the darts spring, and with these points being quite thin, they do go in quite a far, but this is not a particularly hard board. This has got a softish top layer with the Blade 4 dual core. So they go in quite far, but when you take the dart out, because the points are so thin, it only leaves a very small mark. You can hardly tell the dart has been there. So that should be a good feature for prolonging your dartboard's life. The darts themselves are a really nicely balanced dart, especially for me being a front gripper, because they're only short. They're nice and stable through the air, well balanced for me. Yeah, I think these are a nice dart as well. Probably going to suit any grip if you like a short dart. So front, middle and rear, there's grip all along the barrel. Obviously it depends on whether you get on well with such a short dart, but seems to fly very nice for me in my front grip, and I'm quite impressed by these little needle type points. I have a feeling that they're going to prolong the life of the board, which is good. And I've got another harder board than this, so I'm going to have to give them a try on the hard board, see how they work on that, but I'll have to report back on the forum for that. Yeah, I think it's a good idea, these. They seem pretty strong as well, so hopefully they're not going to suffer any breakage. They've got a fair amount of flexibility, so I should imagine that if you do get a dropout, it's probably not going to damage it. If it lands on the point, it'll probably just flex. The only thing is, if you do happen to break a point, I don't know how you're going to get them out because they are quite thin. Oh, well, that's your 180 Reactive 24 gram with the revolutionary reflex point. I'm really impressed with these points. I think they're quite a good idea. You see how the two darts are stuck in the board here, so usually if another dart coming in hits them darts, if they were more solid there's more chance of deflection, but because the points are bendy, as the dart comes in it'll bend out the way, so you've got more chance of your incoming dart sticking in the board instead of deflecting out of the board. And these points stick in quite well. They seem to go in quite far on the board, but I'll have to try them with the hard board that I have. It's quite a lot harder than this one, so I'll be curious to see how they perform, and when I get round to testing that board I'll report back on the forum on the result. But this particular dart itself, it's a really nice balanced dart, and it's got a great grip on it. That micro grip at the front is really nice, and it's like a kind of a purist style grip in the middle, but you're well catered for if you like a grippy dart. So that's the end of the review. Thanks for watching.